Gam Ganapataye Namaha. According to Puranas or Bhagavata, we have four Kumaras. They are called four sages: Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara. These four Kumaras are divine sages. They are directly inherited from Lord Brahma. They always seek Lord Sriman Narayana and his blessings. They used to go directly to the Vaikuntha and get darshan of Lord Sriman Narayana. No one can prohibit them. No one can stop them. Even the Dwarapalakas, Jaya Vijaya also. If stops, what happens? Once they stopped, these four Kumaras, because of that reason, they were lost their place in Vaikuntha and thrown out of the place. They were cursed. They were born demons in 3 ages, 3 lives, in their 3 lives. In first life, they were Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashyapa. In second, Ravana, Kumbhakarna. In third, Mahabharata we can see Shishupala and Dantavaktra. Why? Because one should not disrespect the person who is respectable one. Pujya puja vyatikramaha. One should not deviate. One should not disregard the people who are respectable stages. That had happened. With the blessings of God Narayana, they again reached Vaikuntha. Such a powerful four Kumaras. Most of our people, they know the names of them a bit. No, I think no one of us known in detail of these four Kumaras. Because they were like 4 Vedas. Their words are like Vedic chantings. Their deeds are like Vedic actions. Totally they are embodiment of divine power. Therefore, they have no restrictions to go any place. Vaikuntha, Kailasa, Satyaloka, wherever. They are fully licensed people, sages. They have full permission. They need not seek permission of any others. Why? Because they are divine sages. Such these four Kumaras are described very well in Puranas and Upanishads, Vedas, etc. We had to go detail of their birth and their activities and their what they used to do their duties. What is the importance of these four Kumaras? These details we have to know in detail. Then only we can understand about 4 Kumaras, 4 divine sages. Because of not knowing in detail of anyone's history, we are not able to come to conclusion. Therefore, we have to know them in detailed description. Therefore, we are indebted to the sages Basing on that, today I took the topic of four Kumaras, mean sages. So this is a topic what is there and hidden. Let us discuss. Prayer. Vanamali Gadeshangi Shanki Chakri Chanandaki Srimannarayano Vishnu Vasudevo Bhirakshatu. The Kumaras are four sages from Puranic texts of Hinduism who roam the universe as children, generally named Sanaka Kumara, Sanatana Kumara, Sanandana Kumara, and Sanat Kumara. They are described as the first mind-born creations and sons of the creator Lord Brahma. Born from Brahma's mind, the four Kumaras undertook lifelong oaths of celibacy, mean brahmacharya, against the wishes of their father. They are said to wander throughout the materialistic and spiritualistic universe without any desire, but with purpose to teach. All four brothers studied Vedas from their childhood and always traveled together. They never left each and any one of them. The Bhagavata Purana lists the Kumaras among the 12 Mahajanas, means great devotees or bhaktas, who, although being eternally liberated souls from birth, still became attracted to the devotional service Vishnu from their already enlightened state. They play a significant role in a number of Hindu spiritual traditions, especially those associated with the worship of Lord Vishnu and his avatar Krishna, sometimes even in traditions related to Lord Shiva. The group is known by various names: Kumaras, Chatursana or Chatusana, and Sanakadi. Sanaka and others. Individual names usually include Sanaka, mean ancient, Sanatana, eternal, Sanandana, ever joyful, and Sanat Kumara, ever young. Sometimes Sanatana is replaced by Sanat Sujata. A fifth Kumara named Ribhu is sometimes added. Sometimes the Kumaras are enumerated as six with Sana and Ribhu or Sanat Sujata added. Though in Mahabharata a total of 7 sons is mentioned, namely Aniruddha, Sana, Sanat Sujata, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, Kapila, Sanatana, and further mentions that knowledge comes to these 7 rishis of itself. These 7 are wedded to the religion of Nivritti, mean inward contemplation. Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara in Sanskrit means eternal youth. He is the author of Sanat Kumara Samhita, which is a part of Shiva Purana and has 59 chapters. It is also taken as a part of the Pancharatra Vaishnavite devotional texts. He taught Bhishma the mental and spiritual sciences. In Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 7 is about Sanat Kumara's instructions on Bhuma Vidya to celestial sage Narada. Sanat Kumara finds a mention across Mahabharata as a great sage who dispels doubts and preceptor in all matters affecting yoga. Also mentioned is the Tirtha of Kanakala near Gangadwar or Haridwar, where through extensive tapas he attained great ascetic powers. Birth and mission. The four Kumaras are the eldest sons of the creator god Brahma. When Brahma undertook the task of creating the universe, he first created some beings from different parts of his body to aid him. The Kumaras were first such beings. They were created from his mind and appeared as infants. Brahma ordered them to aid in the creation, but as manifestations of sattva, mean purity, and uninterested in worldly life. They refused and instead devoted themselves to God and celibacy against the wishes of their father. The Bhagavata Purana narrates further that their refusal made Brahma angry and his wrath manifested into the god Rudra, also known as Lord Shiva. As per variant, Brahma practiced tapas and pleased the Supreme Lord Vishnu, so he appeared in front of him in the form of four infant Kumaras as Brahma's sons. Some texts like Devi Bhagavata Purana and Bhavishya Purana narrates the four Kumaras appeared even before the Brahma of the present age. The four Kumaras learnt the Vedas at the age of 4 or 5. They thus became Jnani, Yogis, and Siddhas. The Kumaras remained in the form of children due to their spiritual virtues. The age of the sages varies in various sacred texts. While 5 is the most popular, they are also mentioned as being 5-year-old boys. They practiced the vow of renunciation and celibacy, mean brahmacharya, and remained naked, digambaras. They wandered together throughout the materialistic and spiritualistic universe in the list of Siddhas. The four Kumaras are said to reside in Jnanaloka or in Vishnu abode called Vaikuntha. They constantly recite the mantra Hari Sharanam, means God is like the Redeemer of our refuge, or sing Vishnu's praises. These hymns and glories of Vishnu serve as their only food. Another son of Brahma, we all know very well, the sage Narada. Narada means Naram Dadati iti Narada. Nara means Jnanam. Jnanam Dadati, gives knowledge. Therefore, Narada is not an ordinary. Wherever he appears, he presents knowledge. Whom described as their disciple, extols their virtues in the Padma Purana. Narada says, though they appear as 5-year-old children, they are the great ancestors of the world. They are possessed also a deep knowledge of Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya Yoga. They are preceptors of the scriptures on duty, and it is they that introduce the deities of the religion, nivritti, inward contemplation, and cause them to flow in the worlds. The discourses of the four Kumaras are found in the Hindu epic Mahabharata as well as the Bhagavata Purana. The Shanti Parva book of the Mahabharata describes the discourse given by the four Kumaras to the demon king Vritra and his guru, the sage Shukracharya. The king and his guru worship the Kumaras, and the Shukra asks them to describe the greatness of Vishnu. Sanat Kumara starts by describing Vishnu as the creator and destroyer of all beings. He equates Vishnu's body parts with parts of the universe and elements. For example, the earth is Vishnu's feet and water is his tongue. All gods are described as being Vishnu. The Sanat Kumara categorizes all beings into 6 colors depending upon the proportionate of 3 gunas. Sattva guna, pure quality, Rajo guna, dim quality, and Tamas guna, dark quality. From the lowest to the foremost beings, the colors are dark, Tamas is high, Rajas is mid, and Sattva is low. The Vishnu Purana gives non-living things, lower animals and birds, humans, Prajapatis, gods, and the Kumaras are respective examples of the above colors. Sanat Kumara elaborates further how a jiva journeys from dark to white in his various births, ultimately gaining moksha if he does good deeds, good actions, devotion, and yoga, he can attain. The Bhagavata Purana narrates the visit of the 4 Kumaras to the court of King Prithu, the first sovereign in Hindu mythology and an avatar of Lord Vishnu. The king worshipped the sages and asked them about the way of emancipation, moksha, that can be followed by all people who caught in the web of worldly things. Sanat Kumara tells the king that Vishnu is a refuge to all and grants liberation, salvation of the cycle of births and deaths or births and rebirths. His worship frees one from material desires and lust. One should be freed from material objects, lives a simple life on non-violence and devotion of Vishnu, and follows the teachings of a good guru and undergo self-realization. One should realize that all living things are forms of gods. Without devotion and knowledge, Kumaras, humans are incomplete. Out of 4 Purusharthas, what are the Purusharthas? Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. These are called Purushartha, goals of life. Only Moksha is eternal, while religious duty, wealth, and pleasure decay with this life. While all beings are subject to destruction, the soul and God in our bodies are eternal. So, it is a paramount that one surrenders to God, said Sanat Kumara, ending his counsel in preaching. Prithu worships the Kumaras again, who blessed him. The first section of our Purva Bhaga of Naradiya Purana and Upa Purana has 4 padas or sections, each told by the 4 Kumaras respectively to the sage Narada. Brahma, who had received the knowledge of the Puranas from Vishnu, imbibed this to his 4 Kumaras, who then taught the Puranas to Narada. Narada transmitted it to Vedavyasa, who scripted them into the Puranic texts. The Vishnu Purana recorded in 2 parts, the Vishnu Purana and Naradiya Purana. The teachings of Sanaka of a Kumara brothers are contained in the Naradiya Purana, which is also divided into 2 parts. The first part containing the teachings of Sanaka and others. Let us see the visit to Vaikuntha. Jaya and Vijaya obstruct the Kumaras from entering Vaikuntha as Vishnu rushes to the spot. The four Kumaras roamed around at their free will with their cosmic powers all over the universe. During one of their visits, they arrived at Vaikuntha, the abode of Lord Vishnu. The city, with the residence of Vishnu located at the center of 7 circular walls, is considered as a palace of bliss and purity. It has 7 gates of entry, Saptadvaram. The 4 Kumaras passed through the first 6 gates without any hindrance. The 7th gate was guarded by Jaya and Vijaya. The 2 Dwarapalas, means door guards or doorkeeper of Vishnu's palace. The angry guardian stopped the 4 Kumaras and laughed at them since they looked like children and were also naked, and did not permit them to enter through the 7th gate. The 4 Kumaras were perplexed by the behavior of the gatekeeper, as they had not faced such a situation and ridicule anywhere else. They expected Jaya and Vijaya to be like their master, Vishnu, who does not differentiate among beings. Enraged, the Kumaras cursed them to be born on earth thrice as 3 villains, the characteristics of lust, anger, and greed. The gatekeepers accept the curse and bow down to the Kumaras and beg for their forgiveness. Lord Vishnu, who learnt to the incident, appeared before the Kumaras in all his glory with his retinue. The 4 Kumaras, who were on the first visit to Vaikuntha, took in by the sight and the glittering divine figures of Lord Vishnu. With deep devotion, they appealed to him to accept them as his devotees and allow them to offer worship at his feet for all time, to come and let his feet be their final emancipation. Vishnu complied with the request and also assured Jaya and Vijaya, and they will born as demons on earth, but will be released from all births by an incarnation of Vishnu. The 2 gods were dismissed by Vishnu to go and suffer the curse of the Kumaras on earth, and then only return to his abode after the end of the curse. The 2 banished gods were then born on earth in Dwapara Yuga at an inauspicious hour to the sage Kashyapa and his wife Diti, daughter of Daksha, as Asuras. They were named as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Lord Vishnu undertook the Varaha avatar to kill Hiranyaksha and the Narasimha avatara to kill Hiranyakashipu. In the second life, during the Treta Yuga, they were born as Ravana and Kumbhakarna and defeated and killed by Ramavatar, as mentioned in the epic Ramayana. Finally, in their third and final life in the Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, they were born as Sisupala and Dantavaktra during the time of Krishna avatar and got killed by him, which is also mentioned in epic Mahabharata. Shiva had assumed the form of Dakshinamurti, the great teacher, and meditating facing south, observing a vow of silence. The 4 Kumaras approached Shiva for self-realization. He taught them about the supreme reality, Brahman, by making the Chin Mudra gesture with his hand. The index finger is touched to the thumb indicating the union of Brahma and Jiva. Thus, Shiva made the Kumara as his disciples. The Linga Purana describes Shiva or his aspect. Vamadeva will be born as Kumara and then multiply into the four Kumaras in each Kalpa as sons of Lord Brahma of that Kalpa. In the 29th Kalpa, Sveta Lohita is a main Kumara where they are named as Sananda, Nandana, Vishwananda and Upananda of white color. Then in the 30th Kalpa, they are named as Virajas, Vivahu, Vishoka and Vishwabhavana. All of them are red in color. And in the 31st Kalpa, in yellow color, and in the 32nd Kalpa as of black in color. The four sages Shanaka, Shananda, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara were learned Brahmins, Brahmin scholars. They were the sons of Lord Brahma. They were very proud of their father, Brahma, because he was the creator of the holy books, Vedas. They were aware of three Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda and Samaveda, and considered that the whole knowledge is complete in these three books. On the other hand, sage Atharva approached Lord Shiva to get an approval of his knowledge, which is gathered from the universe using his divine powers. Lord Shiva, impressed by his creation and blessed sage Atharva that his book of knowledge would constitute the list of Vedas and will be called as Atharva Veda. Then onwards, Vedas became four. When this news reached the sons of Lord Brahma, they protested as according to them, the other three Vedas was a complete set of knowledge and there was no need for a fourth Veda. They argued with Lord Shiva and challenged his authority to certify the fourth Veda. Finally, in all humble fairness and peaceful reverence for not blemishing the value of wealth of knowledge, the decision whether to certify a fourth Veda or not was mutually agreed to purely depend upon the results of knowledge debate, Jnana Vivada. Amongst them means four Kumaras and Lord Shiva. Goddess Saraswati was appointed as a judge. The four sages addressed a very complicated question to Lord Shiva and were very confident of their victory. But Shiva, who is the Lord of all supreme knowledge, answered each and every question. The sages accepted their defeat gracefully and asked for forgiveness. Since then, Atharva Veda was added to the list of Vedas, making total them four. The sages went to their brother Prajapati Daksha, who was a bitter rival of Lord Shiva. On listening about the defeat of his four brothers, he cursed them to be small children. After that, the four sages turned into small children. Since the sages were very learned, they thanked their brother for the curse because after becoming children, their urge for learning would be greater. In Kumara Sampradaya, Vaishnavism is divided into four Sampradayas or traditions. Each of them traces its lineage to a heavenly being. The Kumara Sampradaya, also known as the Nimbarka Sampradaya, Chatussana Sampradaya, Shanakadi Sampradaya, and its philosophy. That is, Dvaita Advaita means duality in unity. is believed to be propagated in humanity by the four Kumaras. The swan avatar of Vishnu, Hamsa, was the origin of this philosophy and taught it to the four Kumaras, who in turn taught Narada, who finally passed it to the Yati Nimbarka, the main exponent of Sampradaya. श्रीकांताय कल्याण निधे निधेन्द्राम श्री वेंकट निवादाय श्रीनिवासाय मंगलम मंगलाशास्त्रभय मदाचार पुरोगमयि सर्वेश पूर्वैराचार्य सत्कृतायास्तु मंगलम्.